Hi, this is Nick Westergaard with Brand Driven Social, and I am excited to be joined today by Fred Montagnon, founder of Overblog, which is just launched in the U.S. this June, but before that it had a storied history in Europe as a large blogging and recently a more socially focused content curation and blogging platform. It's earning notable reviews and commentary from folks like Robert Scoble, and among their other U.S. launch activities, they are a sponsor of this fall's Social Brand Forum coming up here in October at the Iowa River Landing. So before that, I wanted to talk with Fred and kind of get some background on Overblog so that you know as much beforehand going into the Social Brand Forum as possible, so then you can come and see it firsthand and talk with Fred and others. So, Fred, can you start out with giving us kind of the overview or the pitch, if you will, of Overblog?
So thank you very much, Nick. So first of all, I really thank you very much for welcoming me and giving me this opportunity to talk to your community. Actually, Overblog is a new breed of social platform. The idea is to allow you to gather all the content you are creating all over the internet in one page. What we noticed over the past years is that we are using more and more platforms to express ourselves. And of course, if you are a brand or if you are an influential people, you need to be everywhere at the same time to try to reach the more community possible. So you need to be on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Foursquare, and so on. And finally, we are more and more fragmenting our contents and our identity on the internet. And the problem is fragmenting this identity when you are communicating with each other. You finally distribute content everywhere, but not the same content everywhere. So if we want to have the full story of what people are telling over the internet, you need to follow them everywhere on the internet, on all these platforms, and this is not what we do actually. So the idea of Overblog is on one page we gather all your content, and then when you meet someone, you just have to give one URL where you have everything on the same page.
So that is your are your destination pages, as you call
Absolutely,
them.
absolutely. You have many platforms today, new platforms that are dedicated to curation, but to curate the content of everyone's content, not your own. So what we are doing is, with Overblog, you can curate your own content. That is the main difference.
Well, and I think that's a big thing. You know, I think that's probably the next stage of social media that we're heading into. With now, you know, we see studies like Edison's social habit that shows, you know, how much more people are using social media than before, and they do have all of these presences on, you know, disparate networks and platforms and content that they're sharing, but there's really not a centralized hub for either personalities or for brands. I mean, there's very few that do that very well. You know, speaking from the brand side of things, you know, how would this work from a brand's perspective?
I think that the brands, more than for us, have to be everywhere, because they want to reach all their customers or potential customers, and of course their customers are everywhere on the internet, and they have to be everywhere. But finally, when they are producing content, they put it on a platform. If you are not a part of the community, if you are not a part of the user of the platform itself, you cannot see the content pushed. I take just an example, it's Instagram or Foursquare. If you are not a part of this community and if you are not using this tool, you will not see anything from the brands. And that means that you are investing money and time on platforms that only reach a part of your potential customer. So Overblog is one more opportunity to expose and to give exposure to content that you are publishing on a platform, because in real time, every time you are using Instagram or Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and so on, we automatically grab the content and put it on your blog. So it's real time, and you know that as it's an open blog, like all the blogs, it's indexed into Google, and it's open and accessible for everybody.
Well, and that's I think the other thing from a business perspective too. So many marketers see new social networks emerge, and they kind of roll their eyes and, oh, it's another social network. Whereas with Overblog, it's a platform that threads together all of those other networks. So I think, again, it could kind of help take away some of that that collective groan that people have about all of these social networks, that I think is both helpful, definitely on the brand's point of view, but also, to your point, from the user's point of view as well. If a brand is sharing interesting things on Instagram, and it's hard for it can be hard for users to find that. So putting that all at part of that kind of shared content hub, I think is really interesting.
Yes, and one more thing is, when you are a brand, when you are somebody, and you know that you have to invest time to start something on a platform, of course you always think about, is this platform sustainable, and do this work I'm doing right now will be able to sustain an audience and a community over the time. And finally, using Overblog in parallel mean that the content you are pushing somewhere will automatically be grabbed and accessible on your blog forever. So it means that, okay, this platform perhaps is just a buzz for 6 months, for 1 year, but the content will not be lost.
Right. No. So I mean, again, it takes your content and really optimizes it too. As I mentioned earlier, the thing also to not lose sight of is that Overblog isn't a brand new startup. You're definitely launching in the U.S., but you've had a pretty storied history in Europe as I believe one of the top blogging platforms. Right up there with WordPress and Blogger. But can you talk a little bit kind of about the evolution and what the past year has
Yes.
held for you all as you've kind of reimagined Overblog a little bit?
Yes, I'm not sure you can see it, but I'm a really old guy, finally. So I founded this startup, Overblog, in 2004. So it's a long time ago. And when we started that in Europe, in France, it's based in France, we were one of the first blogging platform available in French, in Spain, in Spanish, and in Italian language. So at the beginning, we were a classic, what we call now a really classical hosting blogging platform. And we were really successful in Europe because we were one of the first players entering this market, and we really studied the behavior and the needs of the local people. That is the reason why we have that growth. Today we are reaching 35 million unique visitors over Europe, which means that we are, as an example in France, the first blogging platform from an audience perspective, ahead from Tumblr, WordPress, or Blogger. We built that platform and this community over Europe at first. And 2 years ago, we decided to go for a global challenge, what we are doing right now. And we decided to totally revamp and redevelop the platform from scratch. And we, of course, try to find a new pitch and a new mission for Overblog. And just studying what the influential people are doing right now on the internet, we decided to go for trying to hub and to bridge the gap between all these platforms, and not trying to build another platform close to the others.
No, absolutely. And you launched in the U.S. here in June at Blog World, correct?
In New York, yeah.
And kind of what's next for you in your U.S. activities?
So first of all, I'm going to move to New York in the following weeks. That is the first step for me because I'm still in Paris right now, but we are absolutely decided and convinced that we have to move to make something big. After that, of course, we have to. It's like building a new startup because we are not. We are starting from scratch in the US, so it's really exciting to to do the job again. And of course, we have to convince people everywhere that the reason why we will be at the conference in some days. And we are really excited and happy to just discover this new culture, because it's a new culture for us. So we have to convince, we have to pitch, we have to adapt the product, of course, and to make it grow. So the challenge is just to make it happen.
Cool. So speaking of that, and speaking of pitching and the conference and everything else, beforehand, can anyone go to the site and create an account and play around in Overblog right now?
Absolutely, it's open. It's live for the past 3 months in the US. So you just have to go to overblog.com. It's really easy. You connect your account, you connect your Twitter account, your Facebook account, and as soon as you do that, you have your content on the page. So it's damn easy to do. And of course, we will continue to relaunch the platform. We are about to launch an iPhone and Android application in the following weeks. Of course, we will connect more and more social platform. And yes, it's open. And yes, try platform and.
Well, no, I think that's kind of a great segue to close on too. If you're planning on attending the event, definitely get under the hood and play with Overblog and get started, because then you can kind of have a master class here in the next couple of weeks with Fred and others from the team on site at the Social Brand Forum. So. Just a reminder that you can still register online at socialbrandforum.com, and it's October 17th through the 18th at the Iowa River Landing here in Coralville. So, Fred, thank you so much for joining us and for sponsoring Social Brand 2012.
Cool. See you there.
Great. See you then. Thanks.